Hey everyone, Joe here. In today's video, I'm reviewing the PRISM Plus Nomad Ultra displays. These are portable OLED displays from PRISM Plus, a local company based here in Singapore. And this is the Nomad Ultra 13. This is the Nomad Ultra 16. First of all, disclaimer, these are review units on loan from the company. However, this is not a paid review. I actually contacted the company to ask if they have any review units for these two, and they were kind enough to send these two over. So I'll be comparing these two as well as tell you whether or not the 4K OLED version of this is worth the money, because that is 2 times the price of this. I review many portable displays on my YouTube channel, and I'm reviewing these two displays because I'm interested to find out how good they are. At the time of making this video, these are the 5 portable displays available from PRISM Plus, and these are from the Nomad series. If you take a look at the name of the product, if there is the word Ultra, it means it's an OLED display. And the resolution for these displays are all 1080p except for this one here, which is 4K. Some are touch screens, some are not. These are the prices at the time of review. The Nomad Ultra 13 OLED display is 399 Singapore dollars. The Nomad 16 LCD display is 369 Singapore dollars. The Nomad Pro 16 LCD touch screen display is $469. The Nomad Ultra 16 OLED display is $499. And lastly, there is the Nomad Ultra 4K 16 OLED display, which is also touchscreen. This is $999. So this is 2 times more expensive compared to the Nomad Ultra 16, which is actually this display that you are looking at. Let's take a look at the items included in the box, which I have already taken out. That's the user manual, a mini HDMI to full-size HDMI cable, 2 USB-C to USB-C video cables, and this is the power adapter with 3-pin plug and USB-C port here, and this case for the display. Let's look at the design of the display before we put it in the case. So when I first took this out of the box, the design reminds me of the iPad Pro with its flat sides, the rounded corners, and the look of the buttons. So this looks and feels very much like a tablet, except there is no camera on the back. And this is metallic surface with a nice matte textured feel to it. For the ports, this is mini HDMI, and these two are USB-C video ports. These two are interchangeable. If you are using HDMI connection, you will need to connect additional power to the display using the USB-C cable and power adapter. If you are using USB-C for video connection and your USB-C port can provide enough power to power the display, you can just use this single USB-C cable connection. This display has 2 side-facing stereo speakers, one here and one on the other side. The audio quality, I would say, is maybe 3 out of 5. If you think 3 out of 5 for audio quality is bad, well, it's actually very usable and good when compared to displays with small back-facing speakers. The audio quality for this is 1 or 0.5 out of 5. At least with the speakers here, it doesn't feel like someone is talking but not looking at you. And as you can see, this display is very thin. And one thing I really like about this display is the thickness is uniform throughout. With some other portable displays, the bottom is actually thicker than the top part, but with this display, it's the same thickness throughout, and it looks good. The power and OSD button is here at the top, and these are the volume buttons, which you can also use to navigate the OSD. Let's put the display in the case. So this is a very typical tablet-like flip case. This is silicone. This part here is slightly softer. On the exterior, this seems like it can repel water. So let's put it in. There are cutouts on the sides for the buttons and for the speakers. So this slots in very easily. And if you want to prop up the display, you just fold the back into a triangle. So right now I have the Nomad Ultra 13 connected to the MacBook Air, which has a 13.3-inch display, and the colors look great out of the box. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to color calibrate the display because my Spider 5 color calibrator doesn't work with OLED displays for some reason. So I can't tell you the exact color measurements, but based on what the company claims, the color support is up to 150% sRGB, and it supports 1 billion colors. And if it supports 1 billion colors, chances are you're going to get more than 90% Adobe RGB coverage, which means this is a very color accurate display. I do not doubt the company's claim of 150% sRGB color support because the colors, they do look really good out of the box even without color calibration, and the colors are able to match the MacBook Air display that I have without calibration. So the contrast ratio is 1 to 100,000, and because this is an OLED display, the blacks will just be black. There is no IPS glow because this is not an IPS LCD. The sharpness looks alright. With 1080p resolution, there will be slight pixelation, which is noticeable. So this is 1080p resolution on the 15.6-inch display. There is slight pixelation, which is noticeable. This is a good-looking display. The bezels are quite thin on the sides, at the top, thicker at the bottom. There's the company logo in front, which is quite subtle in mid gray. The display is quite reflective. The brightness is up to 400 nits, but in the real world, it's probably lower. Currently, I have the brightness at 60% brightness, and my room is quite bright right now, and this brightness is definitely enough or sufficient for use in a bright room environment. The viewing angles are good. The colors, they don't shift much from extreme angles, except the reflections actually will affect the colors. The visual quality of this display is definitely very good. So when it comes to watching videos, movies, playing games, it's going to be very enjoyable. The refresh rate is just 60 Hz, so I would say this is probably good for console gaming or PC gaming at 60 Hz. Let's see what you can do with the OSD menu. So you just have to press here once to call up the menu. You can use the volume buttons here to navigate through the options. So here you can change the brightness, contrast, and volume. To go back, you just have to press and hold the OSD button. It will go back to the main menu, and you can use the volume buttons to move around. These are the different modes. Color temperature, this is color saturation and contrast level. This will make the display warmer. Video input source, HDR. There is no real HDR on this OLED display since the brightness is just 400 nits and in real life it's lower. Here's the size comparison of the 13.3-inch OLED versus 15.6-inch OLED. I have keyboards in front to give you a sense of scale. I feel like if I have to choose between the two, I would probably go with the 15.6-inch because I just like a larger display. In terms of portability, both displays are very portable because they are so thin. Even with the case added, it's still very thin, compact, and portable. The price difference between these two is 100 Singapore dollars. This is 399, this is 499. I guess if you want to match the display size to your laptop size, you can do so. When working from one arm's length away, I can see slight pixelation because the resolution is just 1080p. The visuals on the smaller display is going to be sharper because it's the same resolution on a smaller display, so the PPI, the pixel density, is higher. I feel like 1080p is still very usable. If you really have the extra budget for $1,000, yeah, sure, go ahead. 4K OLED display. In terms of value for money, I feel like these two provide more value for money simply because they are significantly more affordable compared to the 4K version. If you look at the Nomad Pro 16, which is a touchscreen LCD, it's 469 Singapore dollars. The Nomad Ultra 16 OLED display without the touchscreen is $499. So should you go with the LCD touchscreen or the OLED non-touchscreen? Personally, for me, I don't feel like touchscreen is a big deal. The touchscreen is quite convenient when it comes to adjusting the OSD menu because you can use the touchscreen to adjust the OSD. You can use the touchscreen to scroll and things like that. But to me, it's not like a big selling point. So between these two, I'll probably go with the OLED display. The visual quality for the LCD is good. The visual quality for the OLED display is going to be noticeably better. More specifically, you will be able to see the better contrast ratio with the OLED display. Downsides, this is not a touch screen. The audio quality could be better because it is possible to have good audio quality in a very thin form factor. And I feel like the display maybe can extend all the way down, maybe make the aspect ratio 16:10 or 3:2, which would be better for productivity. And this would also make the display look slicker, such as the display that you can see on the iPad Pro, where the bezels are uniform throughout and it feels more immersive when the screen to body ratio is higher. So is the PRISM Plus Nomad Ultra displays worth the money? Well, you can decide based on the findings I've presented. Thanks for watching. I hope this review is useful. See you guys again. Bye.